everybody. Michelangelo Badio, Kelly, Robert, here at home for, it's nice, but I'm going to be in LA again in a few more days, so we'll be doing live streams there. But I'm here at my house in my studio with Adam, the great guitarist that, he's going to be on the show in 2 weeks when I get back. Is it 2 or 3, Adam?
2.
Yeah, 2. And so it's, then we have a bunch of new tracks that he's putting together. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So it'll be a performance live stream. I wanted to talk today. Hey, Denny. Hey, Greg, Luis, John Peter. I wanted to talk today about a couple things. I've been busy. I've been recording 2 albums with Manowar, and then with this Michelangelo Badio band that's affiliated in California and with Sawtooth, we have been recording tracks and filming videos. We have a brand new double guitar video that's coming out this Saturday on YouTube. It came out great. We filmed it at KLOS. They have this beautiful sound stage in Los Angeles, and they get concerts that are affiliated with the radio station. They've had George Thorogood there, the Black Crowes, other bands. It's really been great. So anyway, we filmed it there. I posted an excerpt. In this new solo, I do a little bit of the Trooper, and those are 2 separate parts. It's not a parallel, like do 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 do. It's not where the fingers are exact. You are playing different fingerings with each hand, but you're playing it together. Obviously, it's a double lead. Bruce Dickinson actually came to the Viper Room and saw me do that a little over a year ago. The band is playing the Viper Room May 31st, this Friday. And not this Friday, but Friday, May 31st. It's in Hollywood. And Vinny Appice's Sabbath Nights, his band is also on the bill. It's going to be a fantastic show. And so you're going to have my band, Vinny's band, and then we have 2 other openers. And the sound man, he runs a big sound company in California, Southern California. His nickname is Dish, D-I-S-H. His band's going to be playing, and he's got members of Faster Pussycat, and just, it's going to be really, really cool. Saw the Iron Maiden snippet. Hey, Steve, Hell Creek Music and More. Great music store in Glendive, Montana. But let's see. Adam, see that green guy?
Yeah, I've handled it.
Yeah, just ban that. Okay, so anyway, all I can say is this. The new double solo is pretty amazing. There's no click track. There's no backing tracks. It is 3-piece in your face. And when you hear it, you can hear the right side very clearly on one side of the stereo sphere, left side on the other. Great sounding drums, great sounding bass. And I can't wait for everybody to hear it. Comes out Saturday. Now, this Viper Room show, it is going to be a great event. Again, it's Friday, May 31st. We're going to be playing Vinny Appice's Sabbath Nights. He's doing a lot of shows. He's playing all the greatest hits, and he was a member of Black Sabbath. He played with Ronnie James Dio and Dio, so he's, in fact, I think it would have been Dio's birthday today, isn't it? Or something. There's some kind of event.
Anniversary of his
Yeah, it's anniversary of his passing, something. But all I know is he was just a great singer. I met him before, and Rudy Sarzo, who was a Sawtooth in Dorsey, played with Ronnie James Dio right before he passed away, and Rudy got me on the guest list in Milwaukee, so I had backstage for that show, and then I got to see him play. Now, this new double guitar solo is great. So I've talked about the Viper Room show. I've talked about the new double solo. Sawtooth has some new models that are coming out this year. You're able to not even put any money down, but actually reserve one without putting any money down. And we have had tremendous response to the new models. Sawtooth is exploding. Dave Moreno, the drummer that plays with Bruce Dickinson, is playing Sawtooth. Gus G's band, Firewind, Gus played with Ozzy, he's a good friend of mine. His drummer's playing Sawtooth. They've got some really great young bands that are playing, and they've got some really amazing established bands and established artists that are playing Sawtooth. They're really looking for both. You know, they have iconic musicians and they have up-and-coming bands that are just young and fantastic. Okay, let's see who else is online here. Hey, Nils. Nils is the bass player in the Michelangelo Badio band. He's online right now. He's also a great singer. And wait, not only when you hear the double guitar solo, which that's what it's called, it's going to be on Spotify everywhere. The mix came out great. It's really a cool song. And also, the video is intense. It's fantastic. We put a snippet up, and it's, got tens of thousands of views already in one day. It's a little over 60,000 views, I think, in one day, combined social media. And we're doing also, we don't do many covers in the band, but we did a version of Man in the Box. And of course, it had to have a solo. I don't care if it's the Granger, we're gonna rip. And so wait till you hear this version. It is amazing. Nils' voice is great in it. The solo is really tasteful, really cool, and really ripping. The groove is right where it should be. It's another song we're going to be releasing very, very soon, probably right after the double guitar solo. I mean, all we have to do is we're waiting for the video to be edited and finished. The music's done, and it's just, man, the music sounds, it just sounds amazing. I was so happy to hear the mix and then the mastering. The mastering engineer mastered Nirvana. He's done Def Leppard's Pyromania. He's a big time guy. And it really, I was never a big fan of mastering. It sounds weird. You spend all this time getting the perfect mix, and then the mastering changes what I call the mix perspective. Well, this is the first time in my life that I have actually can say the mastering sounds even better than the mix. And I was really happy with the mix. So it's going to be rocking. Let's see who else is online here. I see Joel from Chicago, and Johnny, hey, Greg, Frank, Juan, Nubrak, hello, how are you? I hope I said that right. Merrick. Okay, let's answer some questions here. Merrick has a question. What do I think about scalloped frets? I'm not a huge fan of them. Now, Steve Vai has them on the upper frets on his signature series. Obviously, Yngwie Malmsteen, and he's got a great vibrato. And Richie Blackmore uses scalloped frets. Here's the downside, in my humble opinion, to scalloped frets. I don't love any one of the guitar player's rhythm sound that use scalloped frets. I love Richie Blackmore, but I'm not in love with his rhythm sound. I love Yngwie Malmsteen, but I would prefer James Hetfield's rhythm guitar sound to Yngwie's. Now, that doesn't mean Yngwie doesn't play amazing and does all this stuff, but one of the things that I think about scalloped frets is you press too hard, you're going to go sharp. So, you have this indentation in the frets, and I don't think that it adds a lot of chug and a lot of, for example, when you hear humbucker pickups and you get that real crunchy sound. I get that. James Hetfield gets that. Other great players, Dimebag. And so those guitar players don't and didn't use scalloped frets. So I seem to gravitate towards guitar players that don't have scalloped frets for the rhythm sound I like. And I get a great vibrato. Without scalloped frets. So it's up to you if you like them. I love Yngwie. I love Richie Blackmore. I think Steve Vai's Gem is really cool. I don't hear him vibrato on those upper frets that much. So I can't really say if it's a big advantage or not, but I think it's a cool idea to have it up there. If there's any place to have scalloped frets, that would be the safest spot because it doesn't interfere with your rhythm guitar sound. Okay, another question, Rob Johnson. As you learn the pentatonic scales, what scales or modes would you recommend next? Well, okay, pentatonics are basically 2 notes. So you're playing 2 notes per string riffs. And so, Jimmy Page and the others. I would recommend 3 notes per string. So whenever you play a scale, you're using more than 2 notes. I mean, what is really a pentatonic? You've got the major. You've got the minor version. It's only 5 notes. And so what you want to do is the next step would be to learn scales and modes. And I highly recommend it. A lot of schools of thought say, well, don't learn pattern playing or learn positions. Listen and learn with your ear and play. But I found this, that I think guitar is laid out in a way where you can use patterns. It's laid out perfectly for you. So if I have a pentatonic scale, let's just say the minor pentatonic in A. The next scale after that would be the blues scale. You add the flatted 5th. So when you add that flatted 5th, now you're adding a 6th note, but what you're also doing is opening up. But I think learning the positions is a good thing, because I used to call it the jam game. In fact, I wrote a song titled that, Position 2. Position 1. Position 3. Position 4. Position 5. So now I just played 5 positions of the blues scale. If you play in position 4 or position 3 versus the main one, which usually is, in my thinking, is position 2, notes will be put together in different combinations. And that's really what you're looking for. You want to put together notes and rhythms that are interesting and create interesting phrases. So that's what I would do next. Pentatonic scales. Start with the blues scale and then go to, you can start with the major. Once you learn the major scale, you can start thinking in modes: Dorian, Phrygian, Mixolydian, Locrian, so Aeolian. So that's what I would do. That would be the next phase of it. Let's see. The pentatonic minor is really not the 6th mode. The 6th mode is actually, watch, you go. That 6th note is a flatted 6th. If you're in a minor scale, it would be like a natural. So the 6th note of a major scale or a minor scale, whatever mode that comes out as. And so, but it's not the pentatonic minor, because the pentatonic is 5 notes, scales have 7. Okay, how long can you play consistently fast notes for, and how did you learn to do that? I find chunking gets me so far, but after about 10 seconds, I enter panic mode. Okay, I'll show you. I can do it for a long time. It sounds weird. Yeah, I can do it for a long time. But Adam, can you hit the drums? I'll just show you.
What speed?
Yeah, just keep it at 185, just cruising. I don't know what I did, maybe 30 seconds, I'm not sure, but that's nothing. And so what I found is that when you use different types of picking, that depends. That can like elongate the time or shorten it. If you do strict alternate picking, you're doing a lot like this. So the amount of time you can play fast. I mean, there's a lot of people who can play fast using alternate picking. But if you use economy, I ended with a little legato. But I can keep it going. In fact, it's funny you mentioned that because I was doing that last night and I was doing it for like 2+ minutes. And it's good, like you said with I found with leads, a lot of times when you break up a pattern, for example, you create a motor. So I like that better than just going, but I like doing that too. I did it in Freight Train, and especially early in my career. I was playing these long flourishes, and I still do it, but I've changed it a little bit. I guess, once when, you get more mature and you start thinking in terms of more different phrases. But someone said to, let's see about, when you're home, how many hours a day do you play, morning or afternoon? Well, today I actually played both because I'm getting ready for the Viper Room. And what I want to do is I'm learning the solos that we recorded. Now, it sounds kind of funny. Richie Kotzen said that one time. He goes, I'm going out on tour and I've got to relearn what I recorded. Because nowadays you can record and you can write in the studio. So it's not like the old days where you worked everything out. You had it pretty much ready to go when you came in the studio. And everybody's got a home studio, or the majority of people do. So you kind of write as you go along. One of the final frontiers for me, and I've done this in Man of War, for example, some of the older songs, even though I don't hear the solos like that, like, for example, the original guitar player played a lot of fast pentatonic stuff and a lot of pull-offs, and to my ear it went in and out, but to a lot of the fans that hear it, they hear these solos, and it actually took me a while for that to sink in because my playing is so radically different, but I love it. And so I learned those solos and I kind of latched onto it. And so I found that in my own music too, I used to keep the solo sections open for improv. When you have a song like... Well, to me, I play it exactly the same way all the time. So when it gets to the solo section, it's kind of it's my time to improvise, where a lot of other instrumental guitar players, everything's written out. And I think that's cool. And, it's just, I have a little different approach. I mean, my verses and choruses are very melodic. Or no boundaries. Then I start. Then I do that. And so it's, let's see, the reason you play that way is because you are from another planet. Oh, thank you. But anyway, my approach to practicing is this. I have different things that I practice for. So if I'm practicing, for example, for an album, I've done this in the past and I still do it. I will play all day. Now, I like to take breaks. Like I'll play for 45 minutes, an hour, maybe an hour 15, check my phone, go online a little bit, take a break, get a drink, have lunch or something. And so, but I practiced, the longest I've ever practiced was about 13 hours and it was like 12:50, 12:55, almost 13 hours. And that's not unusual for me to practice 10 to 12 hours a day when I'm recording. I want to get into absolute, utter shred precise mode when I play. When I play live and I'm in concert and I'm on tour, I don't over practice. I play all the important parts, like for example, if I'm doing No Boundaries, the song, I'll go over the song a couple times, play some of the riffs. I'll always like refresh my memory with things I'm going to play that evening. Or I don't really do a lot of concerts during the day. So at night, sometimes I do. It depends if it was a workshop or something, but I don't do many workshops anymore. But anyway, so I'll only practice what I need for the show, because I find if you practice too much before the show, you play your best stuff before you ever hit the stage. And that happened to me. Like I was in the dressing room. I'm sitting there going, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. And then I get up on stage and I'm like, I just played my best stuff backstage. And I learned this lesson a long time ago. So I practice maybe an hour and a half. That would be the most. And then there's other times where I practice to learn to keep my chops. So 15, 20 minutes, half hour, if that's all I have. And to keep my chops and learn, my technique and learn new things. That could be unlimited. It could be 1 hour, it could be 45 minutes, it could be 15 minutes. Like when I'm learning solos, for example, to my own music. Because I do a lot of things. I've realized because I left solo sections open in the past, that I play a lot different, some of the solos live than I would in the studio. I don't do that like I used to. I want to play, if I come up with a classic solo that I think is really great in the studio, then I play that live. Now, it's not all the time, but a lot of times. Okay, let's ask, somebody asked if you ever get bored with shred. Maybe do a country or blues picking. I just don't look, first of all, do you get bored with shred? What is shred? Shred is, that we use that as saying somebody's shredding. Manowar plays metal. When I play in the Michelangelo Badio group, it's very prog. I play acoustic guitar. I play clean guitar. I don't have to play every genre in the world. I don't get bored with anything. I think that's kind of a highbrow, actually, kind of an elitist set of, do you get bored with shred? Like, oh, yes, like other styles of music are more exalted. No, I don't get bored at all. If you could play at the velocity that I play and be able to do it really clean, and I'm not saying you can't, I'm just saying, but when you get to this level, I mean, first of all, I appreciate the way I can play because I've worked very hard and I was born with an ability and I work at it constantly like today. But I just don't get bored of playing it because there's always something. Do I get bored of playing the double guitar solo? No. Do I get bored of playing No Boundaries? No. Do I get bored of playing new songs using clean guitar sounds? No. Do I love country music? Yes. But why doesn't Willie Nelson do a Dua Lipa song? I mean, why doesn't, why? I mean, it's not, he doesn't have to. And why should he? I mean, does Neil Young sing Mariah Carey? So, yeah, I'm sure he can dabble in that. But, he's got a high voice, not like hers. But the point is that you should be grateful for what you have. And then I use the shred. Shred to me just means I can play fast and I have really good technique. But Steve Vai's a shredder. Joe Satriani's a shredder. Yngwie Malmsteen's a shredder. So is John Petrucci, Andy James, Jeff Loomis. But they're all different. Everybody shreds. Okay, anyway, let's see. Down with country. No, I like country music. I really do. But I do enjoy other styles, yes. Okay, how do you realize tapping on your double guitar solo? That's interesting because, first of all, I never said I invented it. I invented a new version of it, the string dampener. And on the Sawtooth page, what I do is I use that string dampener, and I was watching Greg Howe, a brand new video of him. He uses a hair tie. So when he's doing he moves that hair tie around. Now, a lot of people, I don't even know why, it's probably a small minority of them, but they're the loudest complainers online, I guess. You know, they really use, oh, well, yeah, using a string dampener is teaching people not to play clean. Tell that to Andy James. Tell that to Greg Howe. Tell that, oh God, I can't remember his name. He's the Italian guitarist that uses his fingers. He uses dampening too. Everybody does it. It's not to, how can you say it? It's not to cheat. It makes it sound better. And so why not have a tool? You're still but it stops extraneous and unwanted string licks. So when I'm doing tapping, like it's kind of like sitting with a guitar and going. Without my hand on the guitar, when you start tapping, this is an electric instrument, so the pickups pick up sympathetic vibrations, and they pick up vibrations. So if you block it using a dampener, or hey, if you want to use a hair tie, far be it from me. You can notice a significant difference when those strings are blocked because it stops this. And so what I do when I play the double, I put 2 string dampeners, ChromaCast, the Sawtooth company sells them. They're great. I use them all the time on the double, 100%. And sometimes I use them live. I use them a lot in the studio. So if I'm I'll get the third one, and then I'll look at the next harmony. So one guitar is going, the next guitar is going, and that creates the harmony. And then, you know, it's easy to do like parallel things like going, well, on the new solo, I don't just play parallel lines. These are like fingers doing different things. I have one part, I wrote a piece in the style of Mozart. It's called an Alberti bass, 1-5-3-5 in major and minor. I mean, even surf. So what happens is when I play this Alberti bass, then the other side, now see, I think of it like a piano. So my left hand is always playing the bass, the right hand, the rhythm, I mean the lead, because that's the way I play piano. So I split that up on the double. So I'm doing this. And then on the left-hand side, I go. It's like, so you're going to hear it on Saturday. It was just wild. And it sounds really cool. It's really melodic. I actually wrote it on piano, but I realized it translated really well to my double guitar. And then, you know, I'm really happy with the new solo. And, you know, and thank you also, too, for all the questions. Somebody says, I miss your old tone. I think tone is interesting. That'd be like saying, you know, Eddie Van Halen's later sound versus his early sound. When I play in Man-O-War, I've got a Man-O-War sound. When I play with this Michelangelo Badio band, I have a sound for that band. And now with the double guitar, on the latest double guitar, I don't have a neck position pickup. So everything is in the lead or the bridge position. If I was going to do another solo album, I would use my sound. And I love using the neck position. My sound really hasn't changed. I just like to use different sounds. And I think that's where, if somebody said like, when the question was asked, do I get tired of playing shred? Well, no, I never do. I love playing a lot of different things. But I did think about, for example, when I was in Nitro, I had a different sound than when I was in the band before that, Holland. Then I had this really long solo career of 15 albums where I had this MAB sound, and I really enjoyed it. I had, I was using the neck position a lot, the bridge position, and now I still do that, but I like a little different sounds. And it's just maybe they're different phases that a person goes through. But, if you listen to my solo albums, even though I'm ripping and you can tell it's me, every album has different songwriting. So, you have the original No Boundaries with... And then on Planet Gemini... and then on my third solo album, there are songs like Avalanche. Or I have another song called Take a Look. It's almost pop. And then on the latest album, the one More Machine Than Men, everything is just vicious on there. And so, or Hands Without Shadow. So I would like, I would love to jam with Mike Portnoy. And somebody writes too fuzzy. Oh. Okay, anyway, too fuzzy for you, but not for me. Anyway, I like to write a lot of different things. I'm working on a surf song right now. So, and like if you heard my song Prague, I used a clean guitar tone live, and I did a version of it, a newer version where I used the clean guitar sound a lot, but I love to do that. I love playing with clean. So anyway, are there any other questions? Hi, Roxana, how are you? What is your go-to motivational song to listen to? Can you bring that question back? Okay, what is your motivational song to listen to when doing menial chores, if you don't mind answering? Hey, Bradley. Well, I listen, I have, a Bluetooth device. I have a really nice old school stereo in my house, that I've had, there's an old turntable from the early 80s, like 1981. I have it, I'm looking at it, it's over there in the studio, but it's not plugged in anymore because it's actually very low output and you need a special old school amplifier to amplify the output to make a turntable work. The newer ones, the Newmarks and stuff, are high output. What I like to listen to is I love to listen to instrumental records. Like Yngwie's latest album, I really liked. The production to me is kind of bizarre, but he hears his music a certain way, but I really liked his latest album. I also sometimes will listen to my own records, but some of my go-to things are, for example, I have a playlist of really intense guitar music. I also have a playlist of ballads. And so there's a Todd Rundgren song called Love is the Answer. Like, name your price, take you to paradise. It is a fantastic song. And he does all these melismatic passages like the Mariah Carey thing, whoa, 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 or Christina Aguilera. But the way he sings it, and it's like, love is the answer. It's a great, great song. It's got fusion chords in it, but it's a hit song. And so that's one of the songs that I really love to listen to. And I will listen, like I'll get in moods where I'll listen to Bach. I'll take a playlist of Bach, like two-part inventions, three-part inventions, the Brandenburg Concerto, or I'll listen to Mozart's Hafner Symphony, or the Jupiter Symphony, or Beethoven's Ninth, or the Eroica. So I listen to a lot of things, but I get in kind of moods for one thing. And I listen to, like, I like to listen for a while. So if I'm doing something around the house or working, I'll put on like a certain type of mood. Like I used to draw a lot, but when I painted, I always had orchestral music on. I love Franz Liszt, Rachmaninoff, Bartok, Schoenberg. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but I just like a lot of different types of music. Sometimes I'll put on bluegrass and like Tony Rice. In fact, tomorrow night, my attorney Glenn and I were going to a gypsy jazz concert. I love to listen to Django Reinhardt or Jimmy Rosenberg, or I like Bela Fleck. So a lot of things, that I listen to, and then sometimes I'll just I'm a big Beatle fan. Sometimes I just need to hear, help, I need somebody. Or when I find myself in times of trouble, I just want to hear Beatles. It's like comfort stuff. I've grown up with them. I've listened to the Beatles since I was, before I played guitar, I was a little kid. And, in second or third grade when they came out. So I've known that music my whole life. And so sometimes I'll listen to them. So yeah, gypsy jazz is really cool. What do you think of Stryper's new album? I'm a big Stryper fan, but I don't really know their new record. I apologize for that. I can't listen to everything. Yeah, Helter Skelter. Yeah, Nils, the bass player in the Michelangelo Badio band, we do a version of Helter Skelter. We added a middle part, a breakdown that is really, really cool. And Nils can sing it great. And we're going to have Jeff Schroeder, the former guitarist in Smashing Pumpkins. He's going to be playing on stage with us at the Viper Room. So are there any other, nudist beast. Judas Priest. I love Judas Priest. In fact, that's a band I'll listen to. They are just such great songwriters. I mean, just the... Another thing coming, you gotta know. When I heard that song, I was like, yeah. You know what else I love? I love the song Turbo Lover, and I love Locked Inside Your Love. I love Old Priest, Electric Eye, and I like some of the later stuff. But Priest, they're one of those bands. That's what I like. Song after song after song. If you put it in a playlist of your favorite songs, there's a bunch of them. Even Linkin Park, people might say, well, why do you like Linkin Park? I like Linkin Park. I like Evanescence a lot too. I think when you hear "In the End, it doesn't even matter," I think that's just great. Or, I love that song. Or I've become so numb. Just the way, and I find I gravitate towards the Linkin Park songs that have a lot more singing and a lot less rap. Not that I don't like the rapping in it, but I much prefer to hear Chester sing. And he just sang so, lack of a better way to say it, balls out. I mean, when he sang, it was gut-wrenching. And, Soundgarden too. You listen to Chris Cornell's voice and him with Audio Slave, Like a Stone. I mean, what a voice. So when I do listen to things, I like to listen to artists that have a good discography. I mean, if I want to put a playlist together of like different types of songs or like different songs in a playlist, I do that, but I kind of gravitate towards one artist and listen to a lot of songs in that artist's discography. Do I listen to Frank Zappa? I love Frank Zappa. I don't like Frank Zappa. I love Frank Zappa. My dad, I saw Zappa at least 4 or 5 times when I was in high school, easily. And I saw him, believe it or not, I saw Bad Company back up Frank Zappa. That was one of the most intense shows. And I used to see bands like King Crimson, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, but I used to love that song Peaches and Regalia, and I played in the jazz band in high school. And I coaxed the teacher, the instructor, the leader of the jazz band to get Peaches and Regalia. He looks at the chart. He goes, our band can't play it. He goes, we can't do it. It's beyond. Zappa, here's what my dad said about Frank Zappa. My dad's two favorite new artists, because he was more into Frank Sinatra and, Dean Martin and that kind of school, that generation of music. But he liked B.B. King and he liked Frank Zappa. And here's what he said about both. He said, son, B.B. King, he goes, every note he plays, you can see it on his face. And he said, Zappa is a genius. That's what he said. And he liked them both. I have a lot. If you go in, I have about 400 albums. We call it vinyl now. I probably have conservatively 20 Zappa albums. Overnight Sensation and Apostrophe. That's where he really hit almost mainstream on those two albums. They're two of my favorites, but I like Zappa live at the Fillmore East, on the charts with a bullet, a bullet, or I might be vile and pernicious, but don't look away. I make you think I'm delicious with the stuff that I say. It's called I Am the Slime from the Video. I know so many Zappa songs, so yes, I love them. Okay, let's see. You Are There, new album, reps a little more towards the Christian side. Oh, you're talking about Stryper. Please tell us about Ronnie James Dio, and this will be the last question. I met Dio when Nitro was rehearsing, and we were rehearsing for our first album to record and then subsequently go on tour. Dio was really cool, and, that voice. The guy, and a writer. I didn't understand a lot of his lyrics. They were what I would call allegorical. And what I mean by that is, some people, if they write about fire, for example, they write about fire. Well, an allegorical version of fire would be you see a shadow of fire on a cave wall, okay, like the allegory of the cave. But you see, so you talk about the image that is fire, but you don't see the fire. That's an allegorical way of talking about it. Dio's lyrics were like that to me. I didn't really understand a holy diver or a rainbow in the dark, or, but I knew, darkness, light, and all this stuff. But his music got to me. And, when you... or sing me a song, you're the singer. It's just so cool. And his voice, it's, what it is? It's the real deal. And I think, when you listen to an artist like Dimebag in here, walk, dun, 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 it's got, what is it? You're talking to me, respect, walk, are you talking to me? It was the real thing. It was the real deal when you heard Dime. And that's all the artists I listen to are like that. That's the one thing. I probably would have been a really good artist relations person signing bands, because even with newer bands, I have a good, even artists that are unknown, like, for example, some of the girls that became really popular and got into big bands. I watch a million guitar players online, and, guys, girls, I just see a lot of different things because I'm interested in the art of guitar. And I would see some of these girls that are really pretty, really absolutely stunningly beautiful, but they only have they have views because they're gorgeous. And I've seen other gorgeous girls that can play really good, and then some that are pretty but not what you would consider drop dead gorgeous. And some of those have made it really huge. See, it's not about being the best looking person. It's about just having that extra something that translates and makes people notice you and feel what you do. You can be an internet star, but I'm talking about being a guitarist that ends up playing in a bigger band. And I've been pretty good about predicting which ones, because I can just see it. And being in the industry and being signed to multiple major labels and being in an arena band right now, I kind of passed the audition. And, I'm very humbled at what I do and grateful. But I love to look at new artists. It's no secret why Polyphia is doing so well. Okay, I mean, they're doing things that are new on guitar. They're not creating new techniques. They're using the existing techniques in a new way. They look really cool. Their music is different. That's why. I mean, Eric Johnson, Cliffs of Dover. How hard was it to figure out that that's a really good song? Or For the Love of God by Steve Vai. What, that's not a great song? He's got his own sound. So that's kind of what I look at. But, Dio falls into that same category for me. It's the real deal. It's the genuine thing. And you can't take that away from that. There's something that translates and goes beyond. It has more mass appeal. His voice, whether you understood the words or not, it didn't almost matter because the words, the voice, the melodies were just perfect together. So that's what I think of Dio. All right. Anyway, yeah, Frank is great. I want to just say I'm going to be in Los Angeles doing a bunch of live streams next week. I'm going to be at the Viper Room with the Michelangelo Badio Band. Vinny Appice, the iconic drummer, that sold tens and tens of millions of albums with bands that he's been with. He's going to be there, 2 other acts. And I just want to say that, it's going to be a great event. We've sold out the Viper Room every time we played. This is going to be no exception. You can get your tickets at the Viper Room. If you go to the door, they have to let people out to let people in, but there is a changeover because it's a really long night of music. So people that get there early, maybe some can't stay late or they want to and they just leave. So it is a changeover. So possibly you can get a ticket at the door, but I wouldn't count on it. Get your tickets in advance or get there super early. But anyway, I'm Michelangelo Badio for Sawtooth Guitars and Musical Instruments. Joey, Robert, see ya.